All right, Shalom. Before we begin, I want to give infinite praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, again, millstone, the men who teach and rule well. And peace and salutations to be unto you, fellow alchemy brothers, that also push out this word in truth, faith, and sincerity. All right, and I'm joining this video. I was going to be bringing out some two things that are written the fourth time. All right, just harping on the point of pride. All right, and not sure if I have a title for this video yet, but those willing to be edifying. I just want to bring these points out because it pretty much highlights the point. Because before the cameras turned on, I was just thinking about it, how pride not only is of course, a demon, but it's also a spirit to where it makes you it makes you do things to where you may not even notice. All right, things like not giving glorification to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and ultimately your heart departing from him. All right, thinking high and mighty of yourself, man. But what the scriptures, of course, speak against that, man. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the first scripture. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 7. It says, "Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and both, Salaki, and by both doth one commit iniquity." All right, what is iniquity? Well, it's just sin upon sin. All right, just a huge tab of transgressions. All right. And what I said, that pride is hateful before the Most High and man. All right. And you best believe it's also hateful towards the men of the Lord. All right. Because the men of the Lord is a perfect example. All right. Because ultimately, when you fear the Lord, you're not fulfilling that deceitful lust. You're not fulfilling that spirit, the spirit of pride. All right. Because when you fear the Lord, it's a total opposite. All right. But pride is it could be you doing your own thing, you thinking that you have your own might, your own power. All right, and like I said, those will get into that. All right, verse 8, it says, "Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another." All right, and the reason why I brought that out is because, and brothers always bring this precept out concerning what? This kingdom. All right, because this kingdom is not only founded by deceits, lies, and things of that nature, but what you have this current nation, all right, who was tailored by the Most High, by the nation of Edom, so-called white man, to essentially be that adversary, because him in his spirit, he is naturally prideful. He doesn't believe in the Most High, and the thing is, this kingdom that he got by deceit, and murder, all these things, he's also boasting in himself. He's proud about it, and that's why this nation, this kingdom eventually was going to be wiped out by the spirit of the Most High. The many judgments that's come into this new Egypt. All right, I'm gonna skip down verse 12. It says, "The beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker." And you see that? And what I like about this phrasing right here, I'm gonna read it again. It says, "The beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High." All right, so the beginning of pride. All right, the early stages of this dang spirit. When you read in Wisdom of Solomon, in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, it actually reiterates itself, right? And what I like about it is it's the total opposite. The beginning of hearkening unto the Lord, the beginning of fearing unto Him, is the beginning of cleaving unto Him, or the beginning of the Lord is what? When the Lord starts to bestow wisdom upon you, because that's just the total opposite. Because the beginning of pride is when you slowly start to depart from Him. All right, it's a strong demon, strong spirit. All right. It says, yes, in his heart is turned away from his Maker. For verse 13, "For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination, and therefore the Lord brought up on them. So like the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly." See that? So just think about it like this. You have a king, right? Or really any other man in the scriptures, one that departs from the Most High, like one, for example, one that decides not to fulfill his orders, man. One that is backsliding. First of all, the nation of Israel at one point could be looked on as prideful. Just totally backsliding from the Lord, forgetting Him, departing from His Maker. All right, and that is our Maker, man. Not only our power, but our Maker, the man who has given us who we are today. All right, the nation of Israel. All right, and that's why pride is one of the most hateful things in the eyes of the Lord. just speaking against your power. And it's funny how the Lord even gave us an example of that. Him being the potter, fashioning a certain or modeling that clay, and Israel being looked on as that clay, and you have that clay essentially talking back. That's how the Lord sees uh, uh, um, that nation, that foolish nation, Israel, looking as that attitude, looking at his power, man. Like, why did you make me thus? The scriptures talk about that. All right. Now I'm gonna get out an example, a great example at that. This is the book of Daniel, the 4th chapter. All right, because when you read about it, all right, this is during what the Babylonians. All right, and then when we were put into captivity, you had the king Nebuchadnezzar, all right, who eventually had that same attitude. Because at that time, that was the top nation ruling, the Babylonian Empire. So how do you think a king who's ruling in that nation, how do you think he felt about that? So even your reputation, your status, how go figure how the Lord put you up, that can get to your head, man. And that then indeed got to him. This is Daniel chapter 4 and 20. Daniel 4. Yeah, I'm gonna start at verse 28. It says, "All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty?" Verse 31, "While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee." Verse 32, "And they shall drive thee from among men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will." You see that? So already when you read in verse, what was that? Verse, so like I lost my place. Yeah, verse 30. That's literally what had occurred at that moment. You had the king again feeling himself, that all those thoughts getting into his head, and this is a heathen we're talking about. All right, so this heathen king is getting all those thoughts in his head. Isn't this a great? What do you say? He said, "This is not this great Babylon, right? The empire that he's ruling, that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty." You see that? So first things first, everything that he is apparently gained by his own might, he totally disregarded Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's what he did. All right. And the thing is, like I said, this is a heathen we're talking about. All right. And because obviously the Most High was just using him, all right, for the sake of not only prophecy, but also for punishment as well, all right, for the nation of Israel. And yeah, I'm gonna keep reading verse. Yes, no, Salaki. In verse 32, that's exactly what that voice in heaven spake. All right, that's what was spoken unto him. All right, and what was it? That was punishment. All right, how he's going to be driven from among men, and that kingdom that he apparently got by his own majesty, right? It was going to be departed from him. You see, all because of that prideful and haughty spirit, which is another word for pride. Verse 33. I'm going to keep reading. It says, "That same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle feathers, and his nails like birds' claws." See that? So that very thing was fulfilled, man. All right. And what did the Lord do? He essentially made him beast-like. All right. It said it said he was driven from among men, did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven. So literally the Lord put the spirit on him, casted him horrible plagues to essentially be like a damn beast. All right. Driven from among men, was probably amongst the beast. All right. His body smelled like from the dew of heaven. Probably smelled like a damn Labrador today. Smelled like a dog, and it looked like a bird. Grew claws like eagle's claws, man. All right, grew feathers like a bird. Verse 30. 34, at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. Yeah, you see that? So at the end, what he did, it did eventually acknowledge really who his maker is as well, you know? And the thing is, when you look at it like that, even comparing a king from back when to today, that's like the Lord casting judgment upon, DJ Donald Trump and Joe Biden today, you know, because they would be counted as the kings of this kingdom. All right, so that's literally just having that image instilled in your mind. Think about a huge king, right? A reputation of being the crowned ruler of the most powerful kingdom on earth is now humiliated. All right, he's now trying to base because what the Lord casted that plague on him. All right, imagine hearing that reputation and then seeing him in that condition. You know, being really put under and essentially looking like an animal. You know, a beast. You know, and why? Because he had that attitude towards the Most High. You know, and that's why it's the total opposite when a man is in a humble state, because then what? Then the Lord will uplift that man. All right. I'll bring out another example. This is Numbers chapter 20. I'm reading on down because, again, like I said before, it cannot only be just a thought, but it could also be an action and not even knowing it. And one thing that Nebuchadnezzar didn't do was what? He lacked giving all infinite praises and glorification unto the Most High. Where's his Lord? Where's his majesty? You know, that's the thing. He was asking. He was asking all those things inwardly in his mind. You know, saying that just again feeling himself. You know, and that's where he went off at, man. All right, none of those things that he talked about was given to him by him. All right, having that me spirit. All right, this is Numbers chapter 20. I'm gonna read on down. This is It says, then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month, and the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. All right, verse 2, it says, and there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people trode with Moses and spake, saying, would the Most High that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord? And why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? All right. So obviously, brothers don't know. As if you can tell from this saying, it is of course what Moses and Aaron dealing with the nation of Israel. All right, in the wilderness of Zin. Because why? Because they were being tempted. All right. So we have the nation of Israel essentially damn near really bucking up against the mediator at that time, all right, Moses, all right, because what? They're essentially in the wilderness, all right? They're being tempted, all right, with no water, no food, not only for them, but for their cattle, right? I'll read on down. I'm going to skip to verse 6. It says, and Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock, and before their eyes, and it shall give them. So let me read that again. It says, ye, Aaron and thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So shalt thou give the congregation and their beasts drink. See that? So at that same time, the Lord is going to bestow spiritual power onto Moses, man. All right, for the purpose of for Israel, man. Verse 9, it says, and Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. All right. And the thing is, essentially, what did Moses fail to do? Well, essentially, him smoting of course, that's him having spiritual power, him smoting the rock, for the water for the nation of Israel and their cattle. The one thing Moses didn't do was what? He didn't sanctify the Lord in their sight. All right, and whose? All right, the side of Israel. They didn't know when that action was bestowed upon them. They didn't know it came from the Lord, man. All right, they didn't know that it came from Yahweh Shem Yahushua and His power. All right, not just Moses, man. You see, so even action like that, something like that can be overlooked. All right, and that's why what pride being that hateful thing before the Most High. All right, and we can look at it like that even from a parent's perspective. All right, because the thing is, excuse me, you have parents out there, right, that may look at their son or daughter, and they themselves start bucking up. You know, not only is that the sin of rebelliousness, but that's also them not acknowledging who their maker is, man. Of course, their maker being the Lord, but what on the carnal level, you look at them as your as your carnal father, your carnal mother, man. You know, and that is also a hateful thing. Even that's why I said it's a hateful thing before the Most High and men. You know, that's a humble thing to do. All right, that's why it's a very humble thing to do to be humble in this truth. Hell, even in the open, even out in the world, man. All right. Let's run this last scripture I get just to close out. This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 18. It said, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." All right, that pretty much speaks for itself, man. All right, that's why again having a humble state of mind is a good thing, man. And again, that's why when you humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, then then He's gonna lift you up. Then He's gonna put you at that mighty status. Only then are you still gonna give continual praises to Him. You know, because you know who your maker is, man. You know, so. That's pretty much all I had. So let's go on. This video was edifying. I'm going to close out with giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who give most on them and who teach them well. And peace and salutations being unto your fellow Akim, your brothers. Let us push out this word of truth, faith, and sincerity. Shalom.